Welcome to Mediumship Moments with psychic medium Kim Durham. Join her as she shares her personal journey with mediumship, connects with your loved ones, and discusses topics dealing with spirituality.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast, Mediumship Moments. I'm your host, Kim Durham. I'm a second-gen psychic medium. On the podcast, Mediumship Moments, we talk about all realms of spirituality, including what it's like to work on murder cases. And this is part of my 4-part miniseries, Mediumship and Murder. And so today I am thrilled to have an amazing medium with me who works on murder cases. Welcome, Jonathan Mark. Hello, hello, hello.
Well, thank you for having me. That was a great intro.
Well,
really good intro.
I appreciate that. I've been reading up on you, young man. So it's interesting how you and I came about, and there may be more that we can talk about that in the future. But right now, what we're going to talk about is what it's like to be a medium, you know, how the family deals with you freaking them out, the early years. And then when you made that shift and had to pivot into a profession such as this. So let's talk about it. What was it like growing up in a household where you could see dead people? It's just a topic.
Yeah, that's to put it like that. It was different for my family. I mean, I come from an Italian religious type of family, I guess, but like they didn't go to like church or anything, but they had faith and stuff. So when I was saying things like, you know, my Aunt Sue's there or other people, they were like, what the hell is this kid talking about? Like, this is bizarre. Like, is he like who is he? And I think for a while they thought it was just my imagination because it started like probably when I could really talk because my aunt passed away when I was only 6 months old. So like I didn't really like know her. I mean, there was pictures around the house and stuff like that, but you know, when I was like, I'll never forget, or my mom tells the story better than I do. But when I was like 4, around that age, it was like Easter Sunday and my grandfather was still living. And I walked up to him and I go, Susie's here, Aunt Susie's here. And he's like, yeah, whatever, you know, whatever. And I'm like, no, like she's here. And I guess I was getting mad, and bless my parents' hearts, they put me in like the Canadian tuxedo, like the denim on denim,
Stop it.
whatever.
It's back, it is back.
I know. I know. So I kept saying like Susie's here, and I'm like, and I kept pulling on my shirt. I'm like, she's in this. My grandpa's like, what the hell is this kid talking about? So my mom hears this because it was like in the living room, she was cooking, and she walked out and she's hysterically crying. Oh. And my grandpa's like, why are you crying? And my mom's like, well, when we had, you know, Susan's service, everyone left, you know, the area to go to the cars to drive to the cemetery. She goes, before they were able to move her, I ran in and there was a jean jacket that they like. So like my mom and my aunt were best friends, lived together in Queens. And then before she passed, she lived at my parents' house when I was like 6 months when she had cancer and stuff. And there's just one jean jacket they would steal back and forth when they were partying. And, you know, at Seaport in the city and stuff. And she put it in because she wanted her to be warm and she was underground. And she didn't tell her other sister. She didn't tell her parents because she wanted it to be like that moment that like she had like alone, like separate because they were best friends. So when my mom told the story to my grandfather about that, he was like, what? Like, how does he know that? Like, that's bizarre. And then it only got worse. Like, and by worse, it was just like more people coming through. So you can imagine it was like pretty weird.
Yeah, because I mean, that's amazing that you could link the jean jacket to that. And it's growing up in families like ours where, you know, like for me, my mom, you know, I thought all moms could talk to dead people. I didn't know any different. But you know, and my mom was a Hallahan grad, and you know, I'm Italian from here to here. I tease that's why I took up sign language. I know the whole spiritual thing, you know, the praying and all of that. But when you have this ability and you're sitting there talking, and your grandfather's like, the kid, I don't see that way. See that, you know, and so the family realizes you have this ability. And it's kind of like, now I have a question for you, because sometimes this is linked. Did you have an incident in young life where you had a traumatic health issue or a challenge? The reason I bring that up is sometimes people have a health challenge and it kind of like either they bump their head, they have some
Yeah.
people have had like, oh, I can't
Like
start.
a TBI or
Yeah.
something, or yeah.
And something happens and it kind of
Yeah.
opens up this other realm.
Like I didn't have anything serious. Like I had like very minor issues growing up. Like,
Yeah.
when I was born, my stomach wasn't developed properly. So like I couldn't
Ah.
really eat food. My ears, I had so many ear infections
Yeah, so
from
you
like when
did.
I was born where like I had tubes put in my ear. I mean, like I have stories where like, I'd go to doctors and like when I was trying to do the military and, stuff like that, and I was trying to fast track to go to like spec ops or
Uh-huh.
like UDT, like steel stuff. They have to do kind of like a
Medical.
pre
Yeah.
like medical like eval. And they looked in my ears and they were like, your eardrums are so scarred and beat
Yeah.
up that like if you tried to do our divers course, your
No.
eardrums would burst.
Yes.
And so like I had like the tubes in my ear, like, all this stuff, I think, what happened with me, and like I think this is just my, now looking back, like
Uh-huh.
hindsight 2020 about it. I didn't have anything like that and I had the ability, but in high school, I lost like 10 friends within like,
Did
like
you,
I went through
Jonathan?
like very serious stuff at a very
Ugh.
early like age, like best friend like taking his own life, like
Ugh.
calling people to his home so everyone showed up
No.
and he shot himself, like
Oh, Jonathan. Ugh.
yes, like I
Ugh.
had I like wrestled in high school and we knew this kid, liked men, which was we didn't care. Like,
Right.
like it was obvious. Like
Yeah.
we did not care like at all. We loved him. He couldn't deal with it. Like he couldn't deal
Oh.
with it. So he wrote a letter to a teacher at our school. I'll
Uh-huh.
never forget this because like I saw him the night before like wrestling and he wrote a letter to this teacher who was the head of the Gay Straight Alliance
Mhm.
Club.
Yeah.
And he basically said like so like a backstory is that he was adopted, his siblings were adopted,
Okay.
which so he wrote that in there, being like he felt different from the jump. Like he felt
Okay.
different from the jump. And yeah, he took his own life. And that was in ninth grade. And then it just kind of escalated from like all these like series of like very serious events. And
So you had
I think
multiple
that stuff
losses.
shaped me.
Yeah. Through that.
Yeah.
You dealt with multiple losses at such a young age and really traumatic. I
Yeah.
mean, somebody inviting someone
Very.
and you're witnessing their demise. I mean, like, wow, that,
Yeah.
so it's interesting because,
Messed me up.
yeah, well, I'm surprised you're doing this work because the reason I bring it up because I'm a
Yeah.
little bit further around the racetrack of life, and
Yeah.
so other mediums that I've worked with or studied with, it's interesting. Like they talk about these life-changing events that had such an
Yeah.
impact that either were
Yeah.
physically where they had some kind of challenge early in life
Yeah.
or that emotional side and it just I don't know if it's the trauma of it or what, but it opened up
Yeah.
this other dimension or this other ability,
Yeah.
that I think we all have, but some of us
Yep. I agree.
are better at it. And so I appreciate you sharing that because dealing with that trauma at such a young age. And have you seen any of your friends from the other side?
So I see them randomly and sporadically, like in my dreams, and I get very emotional when I see them. My wife will tell me I'm crying in my sleep because like they
Oh,
were my best friends. Like I picked so I was playing like college lacrosse and I was getting recruited to a bunch of schools and like when I was talking about the military, like I was getting recruited by like West Point, like Annapolis, and I wanted
look
fast
at you, smarty
tracks to
pants.
like I wasn't smart. It was just lacrosse, honestly.
Well, get your foot in the door, however it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. And my dad went to Cortland, upstate.
I know Cortland. We beat them in softball. We'll talk about
Yeah,
it later. My wife's team.
yeah. And my Aunt Sue went there,
Ah,
and I was like,
love
okay.
Cortland.
And
Julie,
yeah,
everybody
they're
there.
phenomenal.
Oh, they're
Yeah, they're
great people.
phenomenal and they're like really good at lacrosse. And then one of my really good friends, Danny Minovich, like also went there. And I'll never forget. So I went there first semester, didn't know anyone besides the kids on the lacrosse team, and he was like, come to the house, like we're hanging out. And he introduced me to people. Then all of a sudden he's not at the school anymore. And I'm like,
What?
what happened? And yeah, he sends me a picture. He's in the hospital and he has like a cap on with all these things on his head.
Oh.
And he was having seizures, I guess. I didn't even know. So he had one like, so like him and I were texting and then I didn't hear from him. And I was like, okay. And I find out from his sister that he had a seizure, swallowed his tongue, and died in the hospital. And I was like devastated. Like he was one of my best friends too.
Was
And
he
so
the
like I
tall,
was like,
skinny, Italian-looking guy?
no, no, that's Vinny.
Okay,
That's
because
that's
there's
an,
a guy behind you now, and I'm not trying to work,
yeah.
but he's tall,
No,
he's
oh,
skinny,
yeah.
and he's a bit of a jackass. Can I just say that?
Yeah, that's Vin.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, that's Vin.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So go ahead,
Ye
tell me about this other.
yeah. No. Yeah, no. And then I've had other traumatic events too with now that you bring that up, it kind of makes like
It doesn't.
stuff is
It's
starting to make
kind of
sense.
like clicking.
Yeah, it is because there was like in high school, I was very fortunate. I had a very good experience with like, with people and stuff. And there was this one disabled kid.
Mm.
His name was Gabe, and he was 21. We were like 17, but his intelligence level or whatever it was,
Mhm.
his mental like state was like our age. So we were 17. He was drinking beer, but every day I would meet up with him at sixth period, bring him to my lunch table with the cool kids. So I would
Aw.
skip class. I would go like not skip, but I would leave
Yeah,
early,
yeah,
grab
yeah.
him, bring him to lunch, whatever. I mean, this is gonna sound horrible what I'm about to say, but so we graduate and I stay in contact with him. Then all of a sudden I get a message from someone and they're like, "Did you hear what happened to Gabe?" And I'm like, "No." So he was a bigger guy, but he had like I don't know what he had, but he was very disabled. And his mom murdered him because she couldn't
Take
take
care of
like dealing yeah, like taking care of him.
yeah.
And like how they found out was they did a wellness check because they haven't seen Gabe in like a week or two. And the police went by and they smelled like an odor coming from the house. And she like it was really bizarre.
Oh.
So like I literally just spoke to him, I would say like a week about like the New York Yankees
Okay.
or something. Just to like, stay in
Yeah,
contact with
yeah,
him
yeah.
because he just enjoyed it. So I had all these very traumatic like stuff that
Ugh.
kind of like, happened. And I've never shared this like on any show or anything. And it's just, it's making sense like why like
Yes.
I do what I do and like and why I fight for like the underdogs of
Well, you're a
people and
sensitive guy, right? You're
yeah.
very empathic, and that's part of
Yep.
having this
I
ability.
think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it makes sense, and I appreciate you sharing that personal because that's
No, my God,
walking
of course, yeah.
that journey about having friends that people come into our life, right? Reasons or seasons, right? Usually
Right,
it's a
yeah.
page, maybe a chapter, but never
Yeah,
the whole book.
right.
And those people that have come into our life have molded us and shaped us, and then in some cases pivoted how we what we do in life and how that interaction has changed our life moving forward, right? So
100%. Yeah.
the gentleman who had the epilepsy, okay,
Yep.
he was the shorter, squattier guy, kind
Mhm.
of like a fire plug,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. And then
yeah,
this other, and I say lovingly jackass because he's making all kinds of
yeah,
faces at me while he's
yeah,
behind you. So and
yeah,
did he
yeah.
wear black and white or blue and white, or was that his school
He
colors?
yeah, so he wore a lot of, like, those colors because he was, like, a motorcycle guy and, like, a
That's
car
it.
guy.
Because
Yeah,
he had these like shiny leather like stuff
yeah,
he's
he's, like,
wearing.
a car
I always wanted
motorcycle
to say
guy,
like
yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Jackson back in the day. Does that
Probably, yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
So
because I only knew him for, like, a year, but
right.
but we got so close within that year, like,
Uh,
and yeah, like I never met his girlfriend and his girlfriend's the one who called me to tell me that he passed away. Like
oh,
I never met her. I knew about her
right.
and she knew about me because we hung out all the time because she was away in college and stuff. So like and she called me and she told me, I'm like, what? Like,
Like
super
and you start to think I can't have friends because everybody I have friends with.
literally.
Seriously,
Yeah, like
this
all different parts of my life. It's just like, all these people. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
and it's something being a medium and then having these people come into our lives, and that's why I asked you that because a lot of us have had like strong emotional
Yeah.
trauma or physical trauma, and so
Yeah.
you go through life, your early teens, you're losing friends, you're
Yeah.
communicating with your loved ones you never met, and
Yeah.
you wanted to go into the service, but the ear
Mhm.
situation,
Yeah.
physically, there's certain things like my brother-in-law, who I love to pieces, Tim. He was going to be on a nuclear sub in the Navy, but he's
Oh,
colorblind,
wow.
and he couldn't go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's gone on to
Yep.
become a lawyer and has fought in front of the Supreme Court, and he's brilliant and all that. But he found his
Still
way.
amazing.
Yeah,
Still absolutely
still
amazing. Yeah.
amazing, right? So
Absolutely
when
amazing.
you go
Yeah.
through this journey, because let me understand this, Jonathan. So when
Sure.
was it that after high school and like college, where did you end up landing in school? And was it because of sports? And how did that in turn get you to start working with police? Like, when did that first start happening? Was it in college?
So no. In college, I'm like the worst. Like I was like, I don't want to deal with this medium stuff. I want to party, have fun, play lacrosse. Like I want to be a
Hello.
normal,
Uh huh.
like, but like as I'm doing it, so like the crazy thing is like, so I went to the same college as my dad and my aunt too. So I would
You went
go
to
to her
Cortland.
old dorm. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
We have to
So
talk. I got good stories about
y-
Julie and the
yeah.
people up at Courtly. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. So like I would go into her old dorm because like my dorm was next to
Oh,
her dorm and
stop.
they never up. So like I didn't know that was her dorm. So I would call my dad. I'm like, oh, I'm at, Fitzgerald, blah, blah, blah. Just an example
Uh
of
huh.
one. And he's like, that's where Susan was. Cause my dad knew Susan. So like
Wow.
yeah, so it was weird. So like basically I went through college, came out, and
What you study?
I
Criminal justice in there?
oh God, no, like sports management. Like,
Okay. Not even.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm like sports, business, like
That
great.
works, but it makes
Like,
sense.
yeah, I was like, fantastic. But I, my brother, I always try to follow my brother's footsteps, like with everything. Like I committed to the school that he was at, then I decommitted. So he worked in advertising and he at this big firm, like at Universal McCann, which is like
Yep.
where Madman
Yep.
that shows like whatever. So I went there, had the job, and then, you know, I took the police test like because back then when I took it,
Yeah.
it was like you waited a year before you
You
even
heard
like
anything?
started the
Yeah.
process. Like now you take it next week, they'll call you. But like so I took it, didn't hear anything. I did okay. I got in the 90s, like nothing special, right? But I get a call and I'm at this job and I'm like, I'm gonna take my days off and I'm gonna go do like, all like the entire process at one police plaza, like, me and my friends from college lacrosse, like my like older teammates, like we would get hotel rooms because we were going through the process at the same time.
Okay.
So we would be like, let's do hotel tonight for $60, like 2 blocks away from one police plaza. So we can like sleep till 5:30 and walk over, be early, whatever. But so I go through the process. I mean, it was an interesting process, especially back when I did it.
So you left the advertising and you're
No, I was still
were
so I
you
was still doing it, but I was taking days off to go through because like
to
it
go
was an
through the
all day affair.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
every time you're there, it's like they want you there at 6 a.m. and you don't leave till like 2, but like you
But
only
it
do like
wasn't
an
like
hour.
but this is before the training, or was this the academy?
No, this is before you even get the call for the
I
academy. So
gotcha.
this is like the process. So it's basically like you fill out paperwork, you get investigated, you do like
Uh-huh.
a psych eval, and
Yeah.
then you have to get like psych. You take like a psych test, then psych eval, then the mini med, which
Yeah.
is like, they shave your leg for like, whatever. And then they do this thing called the JST, which is like a mini like agility course.
Uh-huh.
And then if you get through all
All that.
that, like you're in. And I have like so many stories about that stuff too. But so I was in, you know, the academy side of the phase. And I have a bunch of close people in my life that were high level officers, like very high level officers for NYPD. And they pulled me aside because they knew because at this time I was doing readings on the weekends. Like I was
Uh-oh.
doing
Okay.
like two on Sunday to pay for my train
Sure.
ticket
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
work. Yeah, yeah. So it was
Gotta
like
do what
40
you gotta
bucks I was
do, right?
charging. Yeah, it was like $20, $40, whatever it was. So they pulled me aside and they're like, listen, like I want you to be able to go home every day to your family when you have a family. And they're like, this job is not what you think it is at the moment. And it's only going to get like
Yeah.
worse. So they're like, I encourage you. They told me to, defer this right now,
Yeah.
hone your gift, and we'll call you when we think like you're a right fit for working with the NYPD for like cold cases. And
Wow.
I was devastated. I mean, I came home,
Uh-huh.
I mean, they kind of like forced me to do it because they were like, "We know like there's more for you, but you don't see it because you're a young kid who just wants to,
Yes.
the gun, the fire, blah 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 blah, like save people." And he's like, "It's not like that." He's like, "Yes, at sometimes it is, but he's like, it's really not like that." I go home, I'm devastated. I fill out the paperwork to defer, and then I get a call from at that time like the chief of police, and he's like, "Listen," he goes, "I spoke to, the people that told me." He goes, "We're gonna, when we think it's right," he goes, "I'm gonna make sure we call you." So
This is
it was
incredible
crazy.
because, like, my mom did police work in the 40 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
the hoops
yeah.
you had to go through to start to work with
Yeah.
the police.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is,
I mean, it was insane.
and truly, this guy who came to you, these high level people that were like, listen,
Yeah.
they could see you being utilized. And how many
Yeah.
years ago is that? Maybe 10, if
Close
6.
to it.
Yeah.
Close to it.
So
Yeah,
that
it was like 7. Yeah,
Yeah,
around that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a whole different shift 7 years ago, even to say,
Yeah.
we think you're a great guy, but
Yeah.
let's hone your skills as a medium because we can use you in police work. I mean, that's so progressive.
I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, you'll meet him because of,
Yeah, yeah.
once,
Possibilities. Yes, I
but
appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. So like you'll meet him, and when you talk to him, you'll be like, all right, like
He's an
I
old
get it.
soul. I mean, he really sounds like that.
No, he's like the older generation cops. Like when
Oh
when
yeah.
when when he talks, he's like that guy. But so I didn't know this until later on. So they were sending people to me with fake names and
Oh,
stuff
they
just
were
to see
testing
how I
you.
was. Yeah, to see how I was progressing like every 4 months. So like every 4 to 6 months, they would send someone to me. And then it got to a point where they felt comfortable, and then they handed me my first case without me even knowing. Like I didn't know, like they sent me the case. I thought that the family member
Wow.
came to me for it as I was doing the reading. I was like, "Oh
Okay.
wow." I'm like, and so then I did well with that case, and I get a call from them, and they're like, "We're ready to use you because you worked on a case that helped us, that helped move
Yeah.
like the needle for us of what we needed." He's like, "You didn't like solve it, but he's like, you moved the needle, which is
Yeah.
all we need you to do." And I was like, "Okay." So then they started passing me cases, and when they would pass me cases, it would be like a phone call and be like, "Jonathan, are you ready? Like do you have 15 minutes?" And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "We're gonna put you on the phone with someone." This is before Zoom. They're like, "We're gonna put you on the phone with
Yeah.
someone, and let's see what you got." Like in the sense of like, let's see what you could pull through for us.
Right.
Like. So I started doing those, and then it kind of like, because you know how it is in the law enforcement community. It's like it's a very small community. So like
Yep.
the high level officers know the feds. So
Uh-huh.
then it got passed to the feds. And then I got a call from one of the feds,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Let's see if this kid can fucking do like
Uh-huh.
whatever." And like
Uh-huh.
that's literally what he said.
Yeah.
And so I had to do something for him, which wasn't a cold case. It was more like a whistleblower case that he's like, there's no way that he's going to be able to find the computer with the file. I found the computer with the file with the person. And then he calls me and he goes, "Listen," he's like, I'm the lead agent in charge for the Gilligo Beach murders."
Yeah.
And
Now, those
he's
that, for the people
like,
that are listening that don't understand,
"Yeah,
because you're from, is it Long Island?
Long
Is it
Island."
one word? No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
teasing with you.
Yeah, it
So
is.
up
Yeah.
there, there was a murder. A gentleman. It was cold case.
Yeah.
How many people have been found? I think 6, 7.
I think
Is it more?
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are
And
women.
there's more. Yeah.
And I think there's 11.
Oh, there's way more. I mean, I
Yeah.
spoke to them. There's more.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like there's bodies everywhere. I
So
said,
there's guys. This guy was picking up women and murdering them, and so
prostitutes. Yeah.
yeah, and so this case you were involved in
Yeah.
helping find the people, the women that were murdered, or finding or narrowing it down to him. If there was like 3
narrowing it
suspects
down.
to him.
Yeah, I was narrowing it down to him. So, like, basically so, like, for people that don't know, like, which
Like,
is
give me an
completely
idea how
fine,
you work a process to do this. So
yeah, so I'll this is something, like, I'll never forget too. I mean, I was at my parents' house having pizza, a very Long Island, New York thing,
I'm
right,
just
for
saying,
dinner. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a good
and
dinner.
I get a call yeah, yeah. I get a call from, like, a restricted number, which I typically would never pick up,
Yeah.
but for some reason, I was just like, "I'm gonna give this person, like, a piece of my mind," like, if it's, like, a solicitor
Oh,
or
that's it.
back then, I
I'm
was
gonna
yeah,
tell
yeah.
them.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, "F you, blah, blah." No, but so I pick up and they're like, "Hey, it's blah, 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 lead agent in charge. Like, we spoke, like, months back." And he's like, "I'm leading the Gilligo case." He goes, "What do you see?" Like that. He goes, "I need 10 minutes." He goes, "I've been on it for 10 years. Like, what do you see?" And I start
So,
pulling
are you
in
looking
stuff
at a
that
picture? Or are you pulling the evidence
no,
through the
I
detective?
I'm pulling it through the detective because he was
Yes.
on it for so long. So, and he knew about all this stuff. So basically,
I'm
there was like
smiling because
corruption.
I've done that, and I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm not a freak. So go ahead.
No, yeah. So I was able to pull the corruption piece, which like he was happy about, but he's like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
what do you see? And they have the recordings, but it's like I said an unusual R name. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I wish that they flashed like Rex Ryan in front of me or whatever, but it was unusual R name that like I wouldn't be like Robert or Ryan or something. So he laughs and he goes, "Thank you so much, man." He goes, "I'll be in contact with you."
Yeah.
Hangs up the phone. Months go by. He's like, "Listen, the task force is being closed." And there's like the corruption side of like why like the task force like closed. And then years later, the new DA of Suffolk County comes in, Ray Tierney, opens the stuff back up,
Okay.
and it's Rex Heuermann. So they took the recording I had, and the guy's name was Rex Heuermann. And the crazy part about this is my grandfather lived 3 houses from where
Stop it.
Rex is. Yeah, there's pictures of me as a kid, like jumping
Stop
into a
it.
pile of leaves, and the disgusting red houses in the background, like
Oh,
of his in Massapequa. Yeah, like
damn.
it's just weird. So
That
when
is so
this is
weird. So random, but
it's
so
so
yeah.
it's so weird because like I'll never forget this too. I get a text from another agent or about get the Gabby Petito case. And
Okay.
they're like, "You're officially allowed to tell people that you worked on it. And here's Nicole, Gabby's mom's
What?
number,
Mhm.
like personal number." They're like, it doesn't have to be monitored through Zoom anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like through them. They're
Right.
like, she wants to talk to you. A day goes by. I get a text from the old FBI guy,
Oh,
and he's
oh,
like, he goes, "Great day for our task force." And he goes, "Don't answer any phone calls." And this is at 4 a.m. And I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
And then 5 a.m. comes,
Your phone's
arrested
blowing
Rex
up.
Heuermann. Yeah, Rex
Yeah.
Heuermann for blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, people like they gave me recognition, for helping. And then all of a sudden these news reporters start coming and like
Oh,
like
geez.
reaching out. And I was just like, you know what? Like, out of the respect for these families and
No.
for the respect of this case, I'm like, I'm not going to answer like
Yeah.
anything. So I left a lot of people, like, I didn't even respond because I felt a response is a response. Even if, like, I say no, thank you, they're going to be like, well, he turned it down,
Yes.
So,
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't in that situation.
literally. So that's why I was like, I'm better off being quiet. And I rather, just focus on the Gabby stuff with Nicole and everyone.
So let me
So,
let me stop you for a second because
yeah,
so when you work, let's say you're going to work with, let's say
yeah,
the detectives are coming in.
yeah, yeah.
Do you meditate before you work on a case? Do you protein up? Like, what is your routine? I'm just saying because I know,
Yeah, no, it is
you
it
know,
is it is funny it is funny you say that because
I do.
the thing that yeah, it's like the thing that, you know, we're gonna potentially be announcing,
Yep.
like, soon. They asked me the same thing, and they're like, "What do you need to do?" I have to go for a run in the morning, like, I like to run, like, a few miles,
Okay.
and, like, work out, but then before I know I'm doing something, I meditate,
Yep.
like, and I meditate to my Aunt Sue's favorite songs. So, like, I'll put the songs on, like, and the
Okay.
songs are, like, "Stop the World and Melt with
Well,
You."
yeah.
I don't know the name of the song,
Uh-huh.
and "Crazy for You" by Madonna. So,
I was going Patsy Cline, but that's okay. Madonna version is good.
yeah, so,
Do you think that
yeah,
she's one
those
of your guides on the other side helping you with
a
this?
hun Yeah, because like, for my entire life, like,
Because you mentioned a
she's the one.
we as though you had a spiritual team, and that's why I'm asking that.
Yeah, I would probably say it's her,
Okay.
that is like the lead in charge, with stuff. My uncle recently passed. I think he's
I'm
now part
sorry.
of it
Yeah.
too. It's like, and you too, like, and
We both had uncles
so
pass around the same time, and that,
yeah,
that part of the history of the family, and they're the cool uncles,
yeah,
and you could get into trouble. My uncle would put
ye-
my ass on the back of his motorcycle, and we'd disappear and get into
yeah,
trouble, and those fond memories. But
yeah,
so these people are now part of your spiritual journey. Do you think
yeah, yeah.
do you think that you have a guide over there that had been a police officer?
Well, so my grandfather
Yep.
was Navy.
Uh-huh.
My uncle that recently passed was the
Yes.
lead prosecutor for Myrtle Beach.
Okay. Yeah. So you
So I had a yeah, I had a bunch of that in my family. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you've got these spiritual guides, and I call
Yeah.
them, our posse. Yeah,
Mhm.
they come in and out of our life at certain points to teach us certain
Yeah,
things. And then, now you're doing these cases. They're, large level cases,
yeah,
and you've got to process, you got to get out and run, get the blood going.
yeah,
Okay. I like to, if I can't get to a gym, then I've got to have something with me
yeah,
to stretch and
yeah, just to
light
do something.
get it, because
Yeah.
the worst thing I can how do I feel like if I don't, I'm very, they tease on the medium on the move, like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
freaking all
Zig,
over the
zig,
place.
zig, zig.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I've got to have a way to warm up all the joints and everything,
yeah,
get moving,
yeah, yeah.
and then I meditate. So it's funny because meditation
Very
for
similar, yeah.
you, right? To do this, do you think it lifts your vibrational energy and lowers the distance for the connection on the other side?
I think so.
What's the purpose of you meditating?
So the purpose for me from what I've like I think from what I've like learned from doing it
Uh-huh.
is it helps me blank my mind out and like forget about like the stresses because when I do readings, I'm sure maybe you and other mediums and stuff like if I have a fight with my wife, then I've noticed that the reading is relationship based. So I'm talking about the relationship between them and their like deceased and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And then I'm like, that's not how it should be. It shouldn't alter the like reading. So it helps me also like, and again, this is like more of like a me problem, I feel like, than anything. But I have anxiety attacks before every reading because people wait and I want to be able to perform at a high level for them. And I want them to leave feeling happy. Like, like I want them to like really be like, wow, like this was amazing. And I put a lot of pressure on myself for it. So I have
Yes.
anxiety attacks every day before readings, every single day.
It's almost become
And
your muscle memory to do the work.
it is.
And I'm,
Yeah.
and I'm a little concerned. I mean, I get, they wait so long to work with us, and I feel the same way. But I have a rule in my house that unless the house is on fire, like, don't tell me about anything bad.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
unless it's, like it can wait. That may
Yeah.
sound terrible, but I've learned to not, because you're human. You're going to bring a part of you into that reading, and you're learning
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
So I meditate before I work with any of my clients, and it's how I center myself and my energy,
Yeah.
and then invite the posse, whoever's in town. Usually it's
Yeah.
it's my mom, or I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
different people come through, and then I start to work. And
Yep.
you're that kind. You're heart forward, Jonathan. That you care.
Yeah.
To me, I come from the healing part of the nursing side. Like, I want there
Right.
to be some kind of healing. I want them to walk
Yeah.
away with a realization that life does continue,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that the messages you get, and from the people who come forward, because I can never guarantee who's in town.
Yes. Yeah.
They come in, like I say, you've got to come with an open mind and an open heart. If you're expecting your
Yeah.
Uncle John to be in town because he was your favorite, but
Sally come through.
yeah, and somebody else
Like,
comes through with a healing
yeah.
message, you've got to be open to it.
And that's funny you say that because I've been recently saying that to people. Like, I think people come in expecting to hear from someone, and that's fine. However, like, you just because that person didn't come through initially, or if they come through halfway through or whatever, doesn't mean the reading was a failure. I'm like,
Right.
sometimes people are they put too much pressure on us in a sense where if we don't get the person that they want instantly, like instantly instead of
Yes.
Sally coming
Yeah.
through,
Uh-huh.
like then they're like, what the hell? But it's like that's not how it works. Like it's not a perfect science. So like you know what I mean? Like the person is coming through for a reason. So like Sally's coming through for a reason for you, and
Yes.
like listen to that message, and then we can revisit what you want to revisit. But like let Sally talk. Like you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like don't
If
like
if you shut that
immediately say
energy
no.
connection,
Yeah, and don't like shut off, and don't be like nope, 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 and then at the end you're like, well, Sally did do that. Sally was like that. Sally did have that before she like,
they
and
got in
then
the
you're
way
like,
of the
then what
reading.
was the yeah, and you're like, what's the point of this then?
Yes.
Like
I've said
you're
to them,
saying
yeah, right. They're paying good
yeah,
money and time. And I say to them, listen, if Uncle Chuck comes through and he's not your favorite, just listen to the message he has, allow the
yeah,
connection, because then he'll pass the microphone. If you shut down that energy,
exa
then I can't
exactly.
guarantee that connection is going to continue. So
Yeah,
it's funny that I haven't had the honor to watch you work yet, but it's interesting how we
yeah,
work similarly. It's as
yeah,
other people have seen us talk together. They're like, "Oh my God, we need to capture this because this is cool." So I'm sitting here like, "Oh my God,
yeah,
yeah, he does that too." Here's a
yeah,
question. It's ironic.
sure.
Yesterday, when you spoke about that, I had an FBI agent in yesterday for a personal reading,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
the men's club came through. Three guys connected to her to come
mhm,
through. And then finally her
yeah,
mom came through. So like the men's club the boys will be boys, had boisterous, and they came through. It was
mhm,
her father, a coworker, and a past relationship. And then her mom
oh,
came through. And it was just lovely that she was patient and allowed those other people to come through, and then the
yeah,
connection with her mom, but
good person.
a lot of people aren't. Now, here's a question. We talk about clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, right? So hearing, seeing, and feeling them. Is there one thing you feel first or see first, or like how does that connection how do you first start to know that you're connecting to the other side?
So I do a weird thing. People
I just
so
laugh. People go, "Oh, you're not going to believe this. This is weird." I'm like, "You don't know who you're talking to. Go ahead."
like people will see me close my eyes and I crack my neck,
Yep.
and then I stare off.
Uh-huh.
And like what happens is instantly in my head, I have like a family tree, and they'll flash so like if it's a mom, dad, right? They'll flash like the mom. So in my head, I'm like, all right, a mom. And then they'll flash a name. So they'll flash like Mary. I'll be
Okay.
like, your mother Mary is here, like that. And then like that's how I know I make the connection
So
is when like they put thoughts in my head.
okay, so you see it clairvoyantly
Yeah.
more than you hear it.
Yeah, I'm way more visual than anything. Like I'd probably say I'm 95% like
Visual,
visual.
really? Yeah, I
Yeah.
because of my photography background, like when I work, let's say, okay, you're in front of me now, I'm going to look over here. I almost turn my
Right.
back when I work
Yeah.
because it's just how I work. I look away
Yeah.
and I look at a blank spot on the wall. I tease it's my iPad.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'll
Yeah.
see pictures there, or I'll hear. Some days my
Oh,
clairaudience is better. I tease. Some days
yeah.
for names I'm better than others. Do you have
Yeah.
the clairsentient where, like, okay, when I work on a case, I can see through the victim's eyes and describe the crime
Mhm.
scene and the suspect, and I'll feel physically on my body. Like I
Mhm.
had a person come through yesterday that crossed by their own hands by a gun. And I will
Mhm.
actually feel on my side of my head, especially if they're left handed. He was left handed. I
Right.
said, he shot
Oh.
himself here. And so, do you feel how people cross?
No, it's all like visual. So like I'm like probably if you needed a Pictionary person, I'm your guy,
Picture.
honestly.
Okay.
I will destroy it. But like basically what like happens is like if I work on a case, like a case but I did in like Lima, Ohio, whatever, with the sheriff's department, they like didn't tell me anything, obviously. And
Will you go out to
what
the site, or will they give you a picture of the victim? Is it
so like that one, I went out. But
okay?
with with that case in particular, they tried to like really like mess me up in the sense where they blindfolded me, brought me to an industrial
Oh,
park,
Jesus.
like yeah, and then they brought me to someone's home, and when I went in the home, it was like they took everything out of the home. So there was no pictures, like it was really weird. It felt like a movie set with nothing
Yes.
in it, right? Like that's what it felt. And I could tell you that I mean, like it is fucking crazy this story because there's so many things. But like, so I go in and they're filming it for like some stuff,
Uh-huh.
and the sheriff's there, the film crew, whatever, and I see the name William because my grandfather's William. So
Okay.
I
They work off your
was like,
life
William's
library.
here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what they do actually. They'll like if I can't relate to it, they put a movie or like a whatever, like a clip that I seen so I can kind of like
Get
relay the
there.
message to
Okay.
them.
Uh-huh.
So I saw a baseball bat to the back of the head. Like
Oh,
that's just what I saw. And I said to him, I'm like, listen, like he's grabbing the back of his head, which means he was struck by something in the back of the head, not a gunshot,
yeah.
like an object. And they're like, didn't say anything. And I'm like, okay. So I keep going, name a suspect that they were like, once I named a suspect of someone who was there or who knew more, they smiled. And I was like, all right,
So
like
let me
I
ask you
did
this.
something.
You're at the site.
Yeah.
And for me, the site holds.
I'm not even at the site.
No, you're not. Okay.
I'm like at their house. And then
Was it the
they're like,
person that was murdered or one of the killer's houses?
it was just the family's house. It was like where he was like
So
where
it
his
was a
mom
family
was.
member connected to the victim.
Yeah, it was the victim's mom.
Okay. See, now for me,
Yeah.
okay, so that victim had been in that house and his psychic energy
Yeah.
had been imprinted in that place.
He was living there
See?
like at the time because like of like work stuff.
Sure.
Whatever. So I get out, I walk to the top, and again, they stripped everything. So it literally, I mean, also I was in Lima, Ohio. For those who don't know, it's like a very small town and it's like
Yeah.
trailer homes with like acres of land,
Uh-huh.
like a trailer home, then acres of land. So I walk to a spot and I'm like, well, he's like pointing here. And they're like,
Now,
what?
when you
That's where
say
the body
he,
was.
the victim is pointing, you're seeing the
Yeah, like
victim.
yeah, like in my head, I'm like walking and then he goes like that to me in my
Okay.
head. Like he puts his hand up, stop, and he points down in my head. So I'm like,
Okay.
well, he's pointing in this area. I'm like, I don't know if this is the exact spot, but it's in this area. And they're like, no, that's where the body like was. And I was like, oh,
His
that's
body
weird.
was.
His body
Yeah.
was there. Like they found his body there. So then it gets even weirder. So like we wrap up whatever. This is just like a side note to like how fucking crazy, like blindfolding me, this,
A
that,
day in the
whatever.
life of a medium can be.
Yeah. So they had like a little deck and a little dog. And the dog, they tied the dog up to the deck so it could run around, but had a
Oh.
leash on,
Oh.
but it kept jumping through,
Oh.
right? So we film, we come back and the dog is dead hanging itself, right?
Oh.
So everyone is freaking out. And I look around, I'm like, no one's doing anything. I walk over, I pick the dog up, I put it down, start doing chest compressions and like mouth to mouth. No one's doing anything. So I'm like, I'm the only one that's doing something. So I'm doing like chest compressions, mouth to mouth. Like the production company people and the studio people were like, what the fuck? Like,
Uh-huh.
they were like frozen. Like the police were even frozen. Like, and I was like, well, I had training in this. So I'm like,
Yes.
and I just do it. And unfortunately the dog passed, but I was just like, how in my head, I'm like, it's always the fight or flight stuff, right? And
Yes.
my thing is always to try and help. So like I saw it, I'm like, no one's doing anything. Like
Nurses
the
are the
dog's
same
just
damn way.
there.
Like I would have jumped right in.
Yeah, I was
Like
like, how come no one's doing anything? Like that was my mind. I'm like, no one is doing anything.
we're
Like,
just
this
gonna
is
stand here and
crazy.
like our tongues out. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So then that wrapped or whatever, and the person who I like said with the suspect, like the name of the
Yes.
person, it turned out that it was like his car that they found. That like, I mean, everyone has a Ring camera, so they were able to get a sensor motion from the neighbor across with the car,
Right.
but it wasn't clear enough. So they're like,
Yeah.
they weren't sure what it was. And then I kept saying this person's name and they like, yep, that's the person. So like he was there. They don't know if he's the one who did
Did
it,
it?
but he was
Okay.
there.
So at least, but you gave them the information to pivot, as you said, cases.
Yeah.
And that's how mediums to me are used, right? I often
Yeah,
say
that's exactly right.
that I give you the pieces to the puzzle, and the law
Yeah,
enforcement
yeah.
are trained to put the puzzle together. And hopefully there's enough
That's what I
pieces
say, yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
For me, and doing this work, Jonathan, we talked about it off air. It's exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting to
Yeah.
work on a case, to be on the site, especially, even though to me, that frenetic energy, that for me, I see things as a movie, and the movie will play
Yeah, yeah.
over and over again. So I'll be so it could happen remotely from my studio and I'm working on a case,
Right.
or especially when I'm on the location. That's when
Right.
it's like the energy is on steroids, and I see
Yeah,
that
yeah.
now it's like I'm in the sphere, and I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
seeing the murder
Yep.
play in that kind of way.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so now that you work on cases, and
Mhm.
you've got more work to do than 100 mediums. What I'm just saying, what is your hopes when you tie this all together? What
Yeah.
what makes you go to do these cases? Is it the thing that you talked about, helping people? Like what's the motivation behind that?
It's helping people. Like
Yeah.
my like biggest thing is like, yes, helping law enforcement is amazing and great, but really helping the family is what gets me
Yeah.
like to do like to like motivate me to continue to do it, because putting yourself in those situations with like murder, missing people and stuff, and it's really intense because they're intense situations and the family's vulnerable and they're like
So
hanging on to
vulnerable,
every word you
aren't they?
say. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I think that's what gets actually, I know that's what gets me going, because I'm like, I'll push myself till I can't do this to help a family that needs me. And I'm like, I don't mind like putting myself through hell to like help this family because they need an answer and they need closure to some extent. I'm
Yes.
not saying that like the reading that I initially do will provide that for them, but if it gives them a piece of a puzzle
Uh-huh.
that keeps them motivated and keeps them moving forward, then I'm happy. Like I'm not here, and for any medium, I mean, you said it, but like when I hear these mediums say like, I'm here to solve a case, it's like,
Uh,
well, in a
like
perfect world, like yes, but that's not how it
Yeah,
happens. Like, you
they
know what I mean?
well, I was going to say, for television to wrap it all up in 22 minutes, that's great, but
Yeah.
it's not reality. It's
No,
these
no.
are, the federal, state, or local authorities come to us. They give us information that they present. Like, I may hold on to the phone that the victim had, and I use psychometry, I use remote viewing, I use my mediumship ability. For me,
Yeah.
it's and to help give them pieces to the puzzle. When family members reach out to us, it's difficult. I'm hesitant to work with family because they don't have the resources to hire a private investigator, or just to have the resources that a police department would be to vet
Yeah.
this information. And that's what's so frustrating,
Yeah.
and how do you feel about
It's
that?
well, it's funny you say that. I just had this conversation this morning with a Fed. But I like the way that I feel is that it's very dangerous to work with families without a detective attached. And it's very dangerous. Like if they don't have a reputable like PI or a case detective or anyone on it, because what I've learned is that these families go rogue. Like if they don't have someone to keep them in check, to be like, there's a process to these things,
Uh-huh.
they will go rogue. And I stopped like a while ago
Yeah.
doing that because I was just like,
And what do you mean
you
by going
know,
rogue? Like showing up at the potential suspect's house?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, like,
Yes.
yeah, like they'll like knock on the door and be like, well, I spoke to X, Y, and Z, and they said you were like
Yes.
there, or like I should talk to you again. Like, and they're like, and then they come back to us and they're like, why the fuck did you bring up my like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? So there's also like a level of like privacy when you work with the police, because they don't want like them to know that they're using
Yes.
us, but they
They
also
keep
want to
their
protect us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
People,
like
people will ask me about cases. Have you worked on this? Have you? And I don't say anything because I don't want to
yeah, it's
tip
like tough.
my cards to
Yeah,
well, not only to people in the community, but also to the possible suspects who may come,
yeah.
right? you know,
Yeah.
you know,
It's scary.
It-
It's like super scary. Like it's a lot different than like a client reading when you're saying someone's cheating on their spouse. Like you see,
exactly.
like it's a little different. Like these people are murderers and they're like horrible people and they have nothing to lose really. Like if they did something this drastic to someone, like
Yes.
they don't really care. So
Right.
it's like, and you have a family,
Uh-huh.
like you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah. So
like,
we've got to,
why put them?
CYA ourselves over working with cases. So,
Yeah, yeah,
as we sit here and we talk about being a medium and working on murder
yep,
cases and what that's like, is there anything, you said as we start to wrap up about working with families
yeah.
and the healing part that you get to give. How do you balance it? Is there anything fun that you do? Like I play guitar badly. I'm just saying. Is there anything way that you balance the energy of this work?
Yeah, so I'm more of like a physical activity. That's how I do it. So I do a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I snowboard, I surf, things like that where I'm like exerting energy, but also, clearing my mind at the same time. Because you can't go into those things
Uh-uh.
with a clouded mind and stuff. So
Okay.
that's
That's your
and like being
reset.
with yeah, like and going out to bars, just
There's
doing like
nothing
the
wrong with a
normal.
little libration now and again. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Just like to be around, my friends and stuff, like, and not talk about this.
And right, your friends give you the space to be
Yeah.
you and not to be the
Yeah.
medium, right?
100%. Like 100%. And like that's a huge thing. It's like not always like working. Like even like just talking about it when you're out at a bar is working because you're like talking
Yes.
about it and you're like,
Yes.
this
Because
is
we
not
get
what I want to
recognized
do.
when we go out. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's the medium, and she was on television, and and they
Yeah.
come up and hi, I love your work, and it's my dad here. Does he have anything to say?" And it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I feel bad for my wife. Yeah.
I know, but I feel yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are saints,
Yeah.
and so I often say, I'm sure they're with you, but I'm not in the office right now, so I'm not working. But I appreciate you understanding that, and I don't want to be snarky, but I'm entitled to
Yeah.
my downtime too. You know,
Yeah, I just say to them as a joke, I
Uh,
have a drink in my hand. I'm like, "Do you really wanna hear what I have to say while I'm drinking?" Or
yes, it's
would like
ethically not right to work if you're
exact
imbibing, right? It's
exactly.
yeah,
So I'm like, "Do you really like" I'm like, "Why don't you just wait?" I'm like, "I'm more than happy to talk to you at another time,"
yes,
but I'm like, "I'm here with my friends and
yeah,
family."
yeah.
I mean, this happened more than I anticipated was gonna happen. I have to be
It's
honest.
going to
Like,
happen
I
a
did
lot
not
more,
think
but
I
we're,
yeah.
ju- we're just going to have to get used to it. But yeah, as long as
Yeah.
people give us the space to be with our families, to be just regular people, out
Normal
for
people. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
so that I'm glad we touched upon that. So,
Yeah.
how I often, and this has been a delight, just chatting with you. I
Yeah,
mean,
this has been amazing.
we could just,
This has been amazing.
we can
Keep
bullshit. Yeah, I know. I'm saying.
Yeah, you're gonna come on mine, so,
Oh, you're sweet. I look forward to it. I really do.
Yeah.
So I always end my mediumship moments podcast with just that, a mediumship moment that either I experienced, my client. Is there anything you want to share with a mediumship moment that happened to you recently?
Yeah, this happened on Sunday. So, I was doing a reading
Hmm.
for people, and, a client that I read came through, and I
Ah.
was like I was like, "This person looks familiar," and the person goes, "Yeah, she's the one who recommended us to you. Like, she passed away 3 months ago." Like, and I was like, "Oh my god." And she goes, "Listen," she goes, "You changed her." Like, she was being very like nice. She's like, "You made her such a believer, such a like a happier person." And she's like, "Yes, something unfortunate happened," but she's
Mhm.
like, "Just know the impact you had on her. Like, don't think like just because you didn't talk to her every day or you just read her and whatever that like it was a transactional business thing where like she viewed you like whatever." And it touched my heart because I was able to see she was okay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that moment literally happened on Sunday. So
Wow.
yeah, it really it's just like also like you just never know. Like you read someone and then like, the person who you're reading on a Sunday is like
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it. It was just like a very like eye-opening like thing like to me. It was just like very eye-opening where I'm like you don't know what tomorrow's promised, but even like tomorrow can bring something beautiful in the sense of like you're reading someone random and then that person comes through and they pass, but that's the person who brought these people to me. Like, it's like,
yes.
I,
And
I
it's
don't
that,
know how to explain
but
it.
it's continued healing that you gave healing to that
Yes.
one client who thought so much of your ability and
Yeah.
her session with you that she gave to me. It's a gift when someone gives a recommendation that they're,
100%.
there's no
It's
higher,
beautiful. Yeah.
right. There's no
Yeah.
higher form of flattery than a
Yep.
recommendation one-to-one.
Yeah.
And then you were able to continue that healing process with
Yeah.
the people that she recommended. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah, never that has literally never happened to me. I've like the years and years and years I've
yeah.
been doing this. Like that has literally never happened.
Yeah,
So like
that's wild. That I've had that experience where they're on the other side and you're like, and it's funny because I'll come up to them and I'll talk and I said, by the way, your cousin is telling me that he really likes me and we hung out. And she goes, oh, you and him were at the such and such. And I
it's
went,
crazy, right?
yeah. And you just sit there and you go,
It's like a weird
it
feeling.
is,
It's like a nice weird feeling.
but
like, I don't know
it's
how to
almost like
explain
it, but life, how do I explain it? Time is moving on and people cross.
Yeah.
And we just don't know how long we're here for. Right.
Right.
So enjoy every damn moment. Go make
That's
memories is what I say.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
100%.
Yeah. Go make, I tease, I have a small house to have big adventures. And so that's what life's about. Well, Jonathan, I can't thank you enough, bud. I can't
Thank
really.
you.
This has been lovely. Talk about your background,
Amazing.
working on cases, and
Yeah.
what we're looking forward to working together in the future. I'm excited about
I'm
that.
excited. Me too.
And so, as I tell my clients and everybody out there, thanks for listening to Mediumship Moments. As always, keep chatting with your loved ones because they can hear you. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for another episode of Mediumship Moments. If you enjoyed this episode of Kim's podcast, check her out on Instagram and TikTok at Kim Durham Medium.